week 3 of How to Ruin Your Life starts tonight. Over the past few weeks, we've been diving into these ideas of how to ruin our life, and not because we want to, can we bring the context up a little bit? Not because we want to ruin our lives per se, because that's dumb, that doesn't make any sense. But we've been talking about how to ruin our lives because we want to point out how we end up doing it, maybe unintentionally, the things that we fall into. And so tonight, we're going to talk about this thing. And it's 6 signs that you found your perfect cellmate. Yeah, right? 6 signs that, now let me explain. A cellmate you have when you are where?
Prison.
In prison, right? And so this idea that we want to talk about tonight, we're talking about friendships. We're talking about relationships that we have with people that maybe aren't the best thing for us, okay? 6 signs that you found your perfect cellmate. Now, here's the thing. Tonight, I'm going to go kind of quick because I want to get you guys in small groups, okay? And all 6 of these things should not be surprising. If any of them are surprising to you, we have a problem, okay? And we need to talk one-on-one. You come to my office and we can chat and figure out why these are surprising to you. But here's the thing. Here's why we need to understand the type of friends and the people that we have. Because the people that we associate with define who we are. Maybe not now, but in the future. And so Proverbs 13:20, I'm going to throw up a bunch of verses, and you guys write these down. 13:20 says this: walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. It also says this, and in a different translation, NLT, walk with the wise, you'll become wise. Surround yourself with fools, and you've sealed your own destruction. So what it's saying is, if you surround yourself with fools, right, with dum-dums, whatever you want to call them, what are you going to turn into?
A dum-dum.
A dum-dum, right? And nobody wants to be a dum-dum, right? Right? Some of you are going, that could never be me. And just look in the mirror, okay? But here's the thing. I've said this before, and I want you guys to understand this phrase, okay? If you're taking notes, write this phrase down, because I want you to never forget this. I want you to always think about this, and it's this. I've said it a ton. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. We've talked about this before. On weekends and on Tuesdays, we've talked about this. If you show me your group of friends that you would call like your closest circle, I'll show you who you're going to be maybe in a year, 2, 5, 10 years from now. Because who we are close to, okay, that's who we become. Whoever you're around, whoever gives influence in your life, that's who you turn out to be. So once again, if you hang out with dum-dums, you become a... Gosh, I can just stop right there. Good. Okay? But only if it was that simple. That we just said, if you're hanging out with dum-dums, you become a dum-dum, and everyone's like, okay, no dum-dums. But there are some dum-dums in the room who don't quite understand this. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay, number 1, we're going to go through really fast. That's it. When you look at your friends, okay, and you want to find 6 ways to know you found the perfect cellmate, they think that they are wiser than adults. Now, time out. Okay, I know right away. Hang on, focus on me. Can you guys sit up? Thank you so much. We talk about this every single week, okay? Here's the deal. Some of you immediately, when you saw this on the screen, stopped listening. You don't care, you're done. Okay? You said, I'm out. But let me rephrase.
Next slide. They think they are wiser than adult mentors. Now, here's what I want to differentiate the two. There are a lot of really dumb adults, okay? If you ask my wife, she would put me in that category, okay? All right? But here's the deal. Hang on, listen. Focus, guys. We're going to go through this really fast. Focus. If you have somebody in your life that when they hear actual wisdom from a mentor, from somebody that you know that you can trust what they say, that they have your best interest at heart, and they're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. They don't care about you. You should do this. If you've got that person in your life, okay, that's a sign that you found the perfect cellmate. Because what they're going to do is they're going to push you away from good wisdom, okay? You guys have to turn here, but this is kind of what's going on. In 1 Kings 12:4, it gives a great account of a situation. There's this guy whose name is Rehoboam. Everybody say Rehoboam. Or like Rehoboam, I don't know. Rehoboam was the new king of Israel, and while he was in his new position, the people of Israel came to him and said, listen, The previous rulers were bad. We need you to do better. Okay? So this is what happens. It says this. Your father Solomon was a harsh master. He worked us to the bone. Please lighten our yoke and we will serve you. So Rehoboam goes to these guys, these council, and says, hey, listen, all these people are coming to me and they're saying, hey, things were bad before. If you just make our work a little bit lighter, like we're going to serve you, we're going to love you, we're going to listen to you. And his counsel goes, well, then, yeah, you should do that. If they're telling you, hey, make our lives just a little bit easier, not because we're lazy, but because we were abused, and if you do that, then you'll have a kingdom, people who will follow you and listen to you. You should do that, right? And Rehoboam says, nah. And Rehoboam, you know what he does? He doesn't change anything. He continues to be harsh and push back on them, right? He didn't want to do these things. And what happened was, as he went to them, things fell apart, right? Because there were people that were telling him, hey, no, don't do that. You need to do what they're saying. This is the wise choice. And he goes, nah, right? So if you've got people in your life that are not listening to wise counsel, right? If you got people in your life who are not pursuing wise instruction from people, and let me give you some advice on who those people are in this room. They're your small group leaders. Now, I'm not saying your small group leaders or myself are ever going to be 100% right all the time, okay? But your small group leaders genuinely love you. People like that love you and are here for you. So if you got somebody in your life that when you hear wise counsel from somebody who genuinely has the best interest at heart for you, and they go, nah, don't listen to that. Don't do that. Nah, don't do that. That's not good. And you know, well, like, they're actually like caring about me, but my friends say don't do that. That means you found somebody who's going to be your cellmate one day, who's not good for you. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, here we go. We're going to go through this fast. I want to get you guys small groups. Now, again, so many of you are going to tune me out when you hear this one. Your parents don't like them. Okay, now, hang on. Let's dive into this, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. I don't want you to say anything out loud. I just want you to think about this. Why would your parents not like them? No, put your hands down. Don't talk. Don't say anything out loud. Put your hand down. Don't say anything out loud. Why would your parents not like them? Think about it. Don't put your hand up, Gabe. Gabe now is paying attention. Okay. Think about this. Why would they not like them? Now, here's what I'll say as well. There's some of you out there that go, I don't have the best parents. I don't have parents who are actually there for me. And let me just say, I understand that about 50%. Again, you guys have heard some of my story. My mom was there. My dad took off. So I get part of that. I get dynamics. I get that some of you go, I can't go to my parents. They're going through these things. They're not a good influence. I come to church and they don't. Whatever that looks like. Some of you fall into that category. That's okay. But here's the thing of what Scripture says and why obeying and listening to parents and your parents liking certain people in your life. Now, again, we can go specific situations and we can talk about this. But here's the thing. Did you know in the Bible, you're never instructed, okay, that you have to like your parents? Did you know that? You're not. You're to a point not even instructed to love your parents. You know what it does say? We're called to honor our parents. Some of you go, I don't like my parents. They're just mean, they're too hard, whatever that is. And you know what? We can have that conversation anytime you want, and I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to talk to you and navigate this life with you and figure out what that looks like. Your small group leaders would love to hear those things so they can walk alongside and see how they can help, or they can just be here to just be somebody that listens. But we're called to honor our parents. In Ephesians 6:2-3, it calls us to honor parents. It does. It tells us that that's what we're supposed to do. It says, honor your mother and father, right? Even in the Ten Commandments, it says honor your mother and father, right? Honor. It doesn't say you have to love them, which, if we want to have that conversation too, we do love our parents, right? And again, some of you are going to go, well, that's not me, and let's have that conversation. But regardless of where you're at with your parents, regardless if you have the greatest parents in the world or you have the worst, that doesn't matter. Your parents were put on this earth as an authority figure over you for you to be obedient and to honor them. And so when your parents, when there's something going on with a friend and they go, I don't like you hanging out with them, odds are, if we're being really honest with each other, which I hope we can be, there's probably a really good reason. I would bet that maybe there's something that that person may have done, how they act. Because you see, if you find somebody that can't respect parents, okay, obey parents, honor parents, and you're with them, that's how you find a cellmate. In Romans 1:30, it says this, okay? And this is where it says so bluntly, those who refuse to honor their parents, okay? Again, it doesn't say like, anything like that, but it says in 1:30, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents. It says that these things show working for Satan's kingdom. Do you want me to step back for a second? Let me read these again, okay? Paul lists it as one of many acts that show that we work for Satan's kingdom. Now, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents. That's in a heavy list of what that accusation is. But it's because so many times in the Bible we're called to honor and obey our parents. So if you find somebody in your life that your parents don't like, or you even look at them and you're over at your friend's house, some of you have been in a situation, and you're hanging out, whatever, at their friend's house or somewhere, and their parent calls them or goes to them and says, hey, you need to send your friend home, I need you to go do this. And they give their parent attitude or disrespectful or rude in front of you. Let me just tell you, whether or not you want to argue that your friend was right or wrong, does that show obedience or honor their parents to be disrespectful and do those things in front of you? No. You can have a conversation with your parents, but the way that you honor your parents sets up healthy and good relationships. So if you find somebody that can't do that, that's a sign that you're going to find them as a cellmate in your future. So, number three says this. You have to be someone different around them. Do I need to explain that anymore? I feel like I don't, but I feel like for some of you I might need to. If you have to be somebody different around a group of people or a friend, right? I know we have this conversation with a lot of you guys, and if you are, when you come to Elevate, or Elevate on the weekends here at North Coast, whatever it looks like, and you're one person, and then when you leave and go to school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right, hanging out with your friends after school, whatever that is, and you're somebody completely different, what I want you to evaluate right now is which one is actually you. Do you see what I'm saying? Which one of those is the Monday through Friday at school where you're kind of doing whatever you want and you setting that, is that you? Or is the Tuesday night Elevate in small groups where you bring your Bible and you raise your hand, which is not my small group, but you raise your hand in small group, right? Is that you? Which one's you? If you would say that the one that goes to church is you and then the one outside is not, what I'd say is the people that you're surrounding yourself with, you found a great cellmate. You found somebody that's going to lead to your destruction. Now, here's the thing, and I get this conversation and this excuse all the time. Some of you go, well, hang on. You see, I only hang out with those kids or that type of people. They're the ones that do those things because, Jesus hung out with that kind of person. And I get this, that Jesus was a friend to sinners excuse. I hear that all the time. Well, Jesus hung out with the prostitutes. Jesus hung out with the tax collectors, which back then was a really bad thing, right? Nobody liked them. They were cheats. They were stealing, whatever, right? Jesus hung out with this. So I'm just trying to be like Jesus. Spoiler alert, you're not Jesus. And guess what? The longer you hang out with those people, the further into that group of people you fall and become more like them. You see, Jesus transformed people, but we've become transformed by people. I'm going to throw this up there. I want you guys to see this, okay? Think about this. Jesus transformed people, but we become transformed by people. Let's say there's just one of you, because there is only one of you. And when you're at school, you have a group of 8 friends, and they're all falling into things that you know they shouldn't, and you shouldn't. And you're like, you know what, I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to change them all. Let me just tell you this. if we flip that idea and let's say it's you versus 8 of them and it's a fist fight? Y'all are a bunch of rowdy kids. I'm telling you, you're going to get your butt kicked, okay? See, you become overwhelmed. You become overpowered. When they have an idea, it's not like you can argue with all 8 of them at once. They're just shouting at you, kind of like when I'm up here and you all are doing this.
Hey, but you have a microphone.
I do have a microphone, but I try, right? Romans 12:2 talks about this. It tells us that we're never to be conformed to the image of the world. And the word conformed, I wrote this down, comes from a Greek word that means to masquerade, okay? So we're called to never be conformed to the world, but conformed comes from a Greek word that means to masquerade. What is to masquerade? To put a what on? To change your identity to fit into a group, to blend in, right? If you have to have a masquerade, if you have to conform to the people around you, you no longer are trying to transform them. They have now transformed you, and you will fall deeper and deeper away from God. And that's another sign that you found the perfect cellmate. Number 4, they gossip about other friends. Now, when you read that one, how many of you go, oh, they're not gossiping about me? So is that bad? Let me just say this, okay? If your friends are gossiping about other people to you, what do you think they're doing when you're not around and the other people are? One of my favorite artists and rappers of all time, Mr. Jay-Z, said it like this. Don't tell me what they said about me. Tell me why they were so comfortable saying those things about me to you. Let me dive into that. Let me explain this for a second. Let's say, all right, me and Cam, we're homies. We're in the same life group, whatever. Let's say, I'm going to pick on Aaron. Let's say Aaron comes up to me and starts just talking trash, gossip. Hey, did you hear Cam did you see Cam did, and starts going off, okay? And now, the next time I see Cam, we got life group together every Wednesday night. I go to Cam and I go, hey, bro, did you hear, bro, Aaron was talking, he was saying this, he was telling me, like he was saying these, I don't know if it's true, but Cam has every right to look at me and say, that's fine that he said that. Did you defend me? Did you make it uncomfortable for him to talk about me? Why was he so comfortable talking, gossiping, saying those things about me to you? Maybe the gossip is all true. Maybe everything he said is factual and has evidence to back it up. Maybe some of it's not even bad, but maybe it was Cam's story to tell, and Aaron just jumped in. I love the way Jay-Z puts it, because he says, tell me why they were so comfortable saying those things about me to you. Have you created a place where they can gossip and it's okay? Are you standing up for me? Are you defending me? Or are you just like absorbing it? Because what I'll tell you is if you have someone in your life that's gossiping to you about somebody else, I'll tell you this right now, and I will place anything down on this bet. They're doing the same thing behind your back to somebody else. Why? Oftentimes it's because people want to deflect away from themselves and find all the wrongs and insecurities about you so nobody ever looks at them. I sit down with students all the time, and I hear these different sides of these stories. And when it comes down to the basic, it's because somebody was trying to deflect and not let somebody see what was going on inside of them. So they said, oh, did you see the problem with that? Hey, okay, so I told that, and then this. And if you have a friend who's gossiping to you about somebody else, I'm telling you right now, they're gossiping about you. You're just not here to hear it when they're doing it. Proverbs 26:18 says this. A meddler is like a madman shooting fiery arrows of death. Here's what this means. This person shoots arrows in all directions. They can't decide who is friend or foe. They are just throwing daggers. They're shooting arrows, putting people down. And guess what? At some point, you're getting hit. You might look, well, no, that's my best friend. They would never. Hang on, let me move my hat so you can see. I learned that from my 6-year-old daughter. She goes, it's like eye roll. If you think that the people who are gossiping to you and feel so comfortable doing it, they probably feel comfortable doing it with everybody and are talking about you and your problems and your insecurities and your things. And if you have those people in your life, guess what? You found a great cellmate who will bring you to your destruction. They're not just sharing information with you and then that's it. I hear this all the time. Well, I'm their trusted person. Yeah, you and all of Instagram. Right? You need to go with me everywhere. Okay, next one. Number 5, they tell you what you want to hear. Okay, now again, some of you are like, that's not that bad. Like, when I get dressed, if I look terrible, I still want them to say I look good. Okay? Thank you. Right? Here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. Each and every one of you needs at least 1 to 5 people in your life who are going to challenge you. If you walk around and the people around you just tell you everything you want to hear all the time, is anybody ever going to tell you where you can do better? No. You know, for me here at Elevate, some of you might not like me, and I love you, and that's okay. Some of you might think I'm on. It's cool. It's cool. Thank you. Thank you. But here's the thing. When we look at these things called love languages, okay, it's how everybody receives love. One of them is words of affirmation. Let me tell you something. My love language is not words of affirmation. When people say, hey, you're doing so good, look at you, you look like such a great pirate, right? That's awesome, but that doesn't feed me, okay? And here's why. This is an honest thing. For me, I know that in everything in life, whether it's me being a parent, a small group leader, a pastor, a coach, or whatever, I know that I am not the best in anything. I know I'm not. I'm not perfect in anything. What I strive for is I want somebody not to tell me that I suck at something. That hurts, okay? That really hurts. Like my kid beat me at Fortnite the other day. He started flossing. He's like, oh, Dad, in your fit. And I was like, go to your room. Okay? No, but one of the things that I do is I strive for instruction. Okay? I want somebody to say, hey, have you tried doing this? Hey, you're doing that. Go with it. Try this. I don't want people to just tell me, hey, you're doing great. I want somebody to help me be better. I do. In everything that I do. Right? Because the problem is when people just tell us what we want to hear, we will never get better. We will never grow closer to being the best us that we can be. Right? In 1 Kings 22, King Ahab was trying to get all of Israel to go to war with Syria. And so he goes to these people and he says, hey, listen. I'm thinking about going to war. What do you think? And all these people go, yeah. And they start to prophesy. If you don't know what prophesying is, that is kind of speaking the future. It's saying this will happen. God spoke to me. And so instead of having a real conversation, because they knew that Israel would lose. They knew it, right? But he goes to these group of guys, and he goes, hey, guys, I think I'll go to war. What are your thoughts? And they go, yeah, man, let's go to war. And in their mind, they're like, this is a bad idea, right? So they go to war. So he says, yeah, let's go to war. So then he kind of keeps going, and then he brings a prophet named Micah. Okay? Now, everything he had heard up to this point about going to war was, let's do it, okay? And he brings Micah in, and Micah goes, He goes, homeboy, you're not prepared. You're going to lose. Things will go down badly. Do not do this. And King Ahab goes, whoa, bro. All my homies are like, let's do it. And then you're like, right? And so who does he listen to? The ones who knew he shouldn't, but said, yeah, do it, go for it, right? They go to war and they lose. And the problem is that all he wanted to hear was the people around him who said everything he wanted to hear. He didn't want to listen to wise counsel. He just wanted to listen to what people were saying that promoted the idea that he had. And that will lead you to destruction and falling apart. If your friends never say, hey, like, I know that you do this, but here's how people see that. Hey, I know you're just being funny and sarcastic, but like that actually hurts my feelings because I feel like you never tell me like just something straight up. If you don't have people in your life who are telling you what you don't want to hear, you'll fall apart. If you have people around you that only tell you what you want to hear, that is a perfect way to find a cellmate. Number six. They are never there for you. Every one of us can look to a group of people or friends, and everybody look at me. Yeah. Andrew, sit up. Every one of us can look to a group of friends that are never there for you. Anybody have somebody in your life that they constantly are asking you for something, but then when you need help, they ghost you or they're not there anymore? Maybe it's like money for food, maybe it's help with homework, maybe it's whatever, but as soon as you need something, they're not there. If you have people in your life that are never there for you, you've found people in your life that should not be there. Proverbs 18:24 says this: A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. We're not called to have 1 million people in our lives, right? Look at Jesus. Yes, he spoke to thousands, but he had 12 disciples. 12, that's it. You have a small group of 5 to 15 people, unless you're taking a Rachel's group and there's like 85 of you. Right? You have a small group of people. And what I'm challenging every one of you to do is this. Listen, this is for real. If you hear nothing, hear this right now. Our life groups, our small groups, mean so much to me that I want to say this to anybody. And if it's your first time, I love you. We're going to become great friends. But listen. If you're going to sit in a small group, you're going to hear people's lives, you're going to talk here on Tuesdays, you better respond to that text, that phone call, that DM on Wednesday when life happens and they need you. If you're going to sit in a small group, hey, and if you're sitting on somebody right now, let's sit up. I want you guys to focus on this because it is for real. If you're going to sit in one of our life groups and you're going to allow people to open up and talk about their life, and you're in a group chat or you guys share phone numbers or whatever that looks like, and I encourage you, share phone numbers with everybody. If you don't have a phone, write a letter, get a pigeon. But for real, if you're going to sit in a life group and talk about life on a Tuesday, I'm telling you right now, you better respond to that message on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, where they say, hey, my life's in ruins, I need you. Because if you're not willing, don't go to life group or small group. You see, the reason here at North Coast, see, at Elevate, we've called them small groups for so long, but we're changing that. These are life groups. This is where life happens. We're not called to have 1,000 people in our lives. We're called to have a few that we can trust on and they can be there for us. 1 Corinthians 12:26 describes a godly friendship like this. If one suffers, we all suffer. If one celebrates, we all rejoice. Now here's the thing. If you're trying to have a relationship with 100 people, this can't happen. You can't really rejoice with 100 people. You can't. It's not possible. It's not possible, but guess what? You got 10, 5, 15, whatever that number looks like in your life, a small group of people. You text me, you go, hey, guy, I got an A on my test. Hey, my parents are getting back together. Hey, I'm no longer struggling with anxiety or depression. If you got 100 people, that doesn't feel personal. That doesn't feel close. That feels hard to navigate. If you have people in your life that are never there for you, you're leading yourself to ruin, and you've found a perfect cellmate or cellmates. But here's the idea I want you guys to have. As I read through all these, as I go through all this, some of you go, well, it sounds like you've taken away a lot from me. But I want us to look at it the other way. It's if you lose toxic friends to gain a healthy future, that's the right outlook. If you have to get rid of something toxic or unhealthy or that's hurting you, and what you gain is health and connection and community, is that not worth it? If you've got social media, I want you tonight, here's a challenge. You got social media, raise your hand. Any social media. And Shalissa. Shh. If you have it tonight, I'm putting a challenge at your feet. Go through all of your friends and delete people that you don't talk to and share your life with. Here's what I want to ask you. And some of you are like, I can't do that. Listen, not contacts. Well, sure. Don't delete your mom, though. Okay, listen. I'm going to send you guys to small groups, but here's why. Shh. Here's why. You guys call a lot of people friends. And if there's anybody on your Instagram, on your TikTok, whatever, if you have Snapchat, let's talk one-on-one because you should not. If you have people on there that you don't feel comfortable saying, my life's falling apart, can you come help? And you know that those people would respond. Why are they in your life? What is the point? Oh, to share the positive highlight reel of your life? Cool. Guess what? That's not 80% of your life. When you have people around you that can't be there for you, there's no point. You will feel empty inside because you will not be able to see the true friends you have because they'll be intermixed with everybody that you can't count on. And some of you go, well, it sounds like I'm losing a lot. And you're losing something, but you're gaining something better. You're gaining healthy connection and community from people you can count on. That's your life group. That's your leaders. As we go to a life group right now, we've got 15 minutes. I'm going to pray. You're going to sprint to your small group room. You're going to spend 15 minutes, listen to me, talking about real life. Leaders, don't do attendance. Don't worry about it. Talk about life. Leaders, when you get to your room, say, who wants to talk? And sit in silence until somebody wants to talk about life. God, I just want to thank you for tonight and everyone that's here. I pray that as we navigate this life and this craziness of people that we're trying to figure out, are they my friend, aren't they my friend? Are they here for me, are they not? As we look at these 6 things that we navigate to or look at and go, this is how I find not friends or people that don't care for me or how I find the perfect cellmate. As we look at these, I pray that each and every one of us would be able to cut ties with things that are hurting us and weighing us down and not bringing us closer to you, bringing us closer and closer to destruction. God, I pray that you would give us the strength and the power to get rid of things in our life that are unhealthy and to use the connection of fellow believers, fellow Christ followers, Christians, Jesus lovers. We'd be able to have a better life. We would get rid of toxicity and bring in health and connection. God, in your name we pray. Amen.